In this episode, we're talking about smart thermostats and which one you should choose.
Vacation Rental Machine helps hosts just like you learn how to start, grow, and scale your short-term rental business. The show is all about creating systems that help you automate your business, giving you more time and money freedom. If you're ready to start living the vacation rental life, then subscribe to this podcast today. Come and join us on our Facebook group, The Host Nation, where we'll be talking about starting, automating, and scaling a short-term rental business. Now, on to the show.
Welcome back, Host Nation. I am John Bell, one of the co-hosts of the Vacation Rental Machine podcast. In today's episode, we are talking about smart thermostats and which ones that I'm using in my business and why possibly you should switch to the same one as well. In the past, we talked about smart thermostats and we were talking about Nest as being the preferred choice of this device because they were about the one that was the most efficient when it came to just having a thermostat. They also had a great secondary device called the Nest Protect that also worked with it. And you had a great dashboard for just managing both of those devices in one screen. Personally, being a host that is scaling and having multiple properties, I ran into a major issue when it came to Nest. And this happened when Google started to take over of the Nest device. They closed off the API so you couldn't integrate it with anything else, which this change and the way that the app is set up limited me to only be able to connect to 4 homes under a single email address. I started to run out of email addresses to be able to create and then go in and manage, and I would miss alerts from different properties linked to different emails. So to me, the biggest holdup there was the software that they've attached to the devices didn't allow me to scale my business under one email address, and I started to mismanage or miss information that was coming from the devices, whether the smoke alarm was going off or something else was happening within the home, or maybe I just needed to set the thermostat because the guest says, hey, I can't change it. I needed to find the email address that was associated with it, log in, and then I would only have access to those 4 properties. I ran out of email addresses and phones to actually attach those to. Speaking of Nest, one of the other things that I found was more of a nuisance is it did learn what setting you did like within the home. But with us having multiple guests coming into the space, it learning anything from one guest to the next guest didn't necessarily mean that my current guest was comfortable. Where I like to sleep where the temperature is down towards the 70s, 60s, or whatever. Some people can't tolerate that. And if the thermostat automatically at maybe 11 p.m. turned down to that temperature and they set it up higher, people were getting annoyed with some of those settings and things that kind of just took it up and down. I also realized that it would do this whether or not the guest was there or not, because it's thinking for us or for the homeowner that it's serving. So because of that, it would just turn on, it would turn down, it would turn up, and nobody would necessarily be there. Okay, so what device am I using now today? I'm using Ecobee's. Ecobee definitely seemed to be a new thermostat because I didn't know about it too much before one of my AC guys mentioned it to me probably about 10 months ago. And after about that time, I started integrating it into some of the properties. And anytime a Nest thermostat actually got damaged or went dead, I would replace those with Ecobees, and I was able to add multiples. I'm able to add multiple homes. I'm not inconvenienced by remembering a secondary login to log into a certain property. I have them all on one screen. I can change them. I can set the temperatures. I could set the thresholds in which the temperatures can go in between. I also can use some of the tools that I have access to automate when the thermostat goes in a certain temperature setting, whether it's occupied or vacant. So this allows me to kind of shut down the system while it's vacant and ramp up the system before occupancy if I'm going in between reservations with some type of gap. So that allows me to be a little more efficient with the power usage. I also found that it doesn't always have those hard presets like the Nest device did. Again, I would have to go into the Nest app, and I would have to go in and delete every single one of these settings. And sometimes they were about 20 settings of temperature just within a certain day. And I had to do that day by day. On the minute side, it does want to learn and it does go up and down, but if you set a good range, it will try to stay within that range and things will be fine there. There's less of an inconvenience when it kind of goes up and down. It's easier to kind of manage. You're not necessarily having to turn a dial left and right. Sometimes some people found the Nest device a little more difficult to operate, but the Ecobee device, because everything is right there on the screen and it's touchscreen, you're able to kind of really change things a little bit easier. So yeah, Ecobee is now my product of choice when it comes to thermostats. Now, of course, that leaves a gap on the smoke detector side of things because they don't necessarily integrate with any type of other smoke detector. But there are some other Wi-Fi enabled options that we can talk about in another episode. One of our other students in our VRM formula coaching program asked if they should go back and change out all of their Nest devices to Ecobees. I told them that as long as they're not inconvenienced with having to use multiple logins, they're okay leaving those Nest devices, but as they grow, to gradually switch over to the Ecobee devices. That way, you're not necessarily going back and replacing hardware that you just purchased if you just started these units. Again, if you guys are interested in scaling your business and learning more and getting one-on-one coaching, our coaching program is available to you guys. You could definitely find that information in a link below. And if you have any other questions, you can always do #AskVRM in the Host Nation Facebook group. If you're not a part of that Host Nation Facebook group, you can also find that link down below. Today's question of the day: which thermostat are you using and why? Till next time, Host Nation, happy hosting. Hey, Host Nation, would you like to work directly with Julian and I to help you start and scale your own short-term rental business? Go to shorttermsage.com/coaching to attend our step-by-step training and learn how we can work together. Looking forward to talking to you soon.
Hope you hosts found value in this episode. If you did, please go on over to iTunes and leave us a review, as that would greatly support the show. If you'd like to connect with John, the community, and I, then go on over to our Facebook group, The Host Nation. Talk to you hosts in the next episode. Keep on hosting.